Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's webinar. We are going to deal with a fascinating subject called karma, something that has intrigued humanity throughout history. So the next hour, we're going to go through a fun exercise of exploring one of the most intriguing, challenging subjects of which there are so many opinions. Let's see what we come up with. So let's start with the karmic faculty. What is karma? Now, karma is a subject that has challenged and intrigued humanity throughout history. And whoever we speak to has a different angle on karma, which is very interesting because karma in itself is such a powerful driving force, but it is perceived so differently by people. And everybody has an opinion, and some have very strong opinions on karma. I believe that karma is not of a singular nature, black or white, right or wrong. Karma is the force that shapes events in our lives as we navigate through the journey of learning. So in this regard, karma is like a compass that we follow without even knowing that it exists, and actually our life's journey is following this compass. But it is our compass, and we will see how it gets set for us. Karma also has dimensions of cause and effect, which is what is widely understood for, albeit in very simplistic notions. Action and reaction, what goes around, comes around. But I think there's a lot more to karma than these simplistic notions or definitions. Maybe in essence they are true, but there's a lot more to karma. So let's explore karma more fully now. Karma is a program or cycle with a flow of energy driven by the energy of our thought and the impact of our actions. So karma is a program or a cycle with a flow of energy driven by the energy of our thought and the impact of our actions. That's one catch-all phrase for karma. Karma follows a circular path, starting and ending at the same point. It is not necessarily a vehicle for punishment and justice, but rather a nurturing teacher who sometimes has to be cruel to be kind. So it is a circular path, yes. It starts and finishes in the same point, yes. But it's not a vehicle of reward or punishment. It is a nurturing teacher who sometimes has to be cruel to be kind, and sometimes teaches you with the greatest kindness and gentleness, depending on where you are and what it is you have chosen to learn. Now, karma is timeless. This is the other dimension. Once it is set in motion, until the circle is complete, it will not end. And this could span lifetimes. So it is timeless. And once set in motion, only ends when the circle is complete. And this can span for lifetimes. Karma can also be resolved and even dissolved through meditation and a solemn commitment to seek to complete the 10 stages of the soul's journey in this lifetime. If we make that commitment, that we are seeking in our lives, regardless of where we are in these 10 stages, we make this our ultimate goal of this lifetime, then we can invoke a very powerful karma, which I will talk about further later. But so you can dissolve and resolve past karma with this commitment. But then you have to live it. And the goal is to complete the 10 stages of the soul and achieve union with the Creator beyond the 10th stage in the spiritual journey. So today we are going to explore these three elements in as focused a manner as possible, with great simplicity. So the first we are going to explore is what is the karmic compass, and how does it work. Then we will explore cause and effect. And these two I'm going to share with you two stories that completely lay before you these two dimensions in action, which you can identify with. And the third, which is the resolution and dissolution, which is where today's meditation comes in. Now, karma is such a vast subject that we need so many classes to explore it fully. But these three aspects are all of practical importance, and they impact our lives, which is why I have chosen to present it this way. And these three aspects are part of our ascension in our spiritual journey. As we learn and practice more advanced meditation techniques, when we started our first class to the techniques we are practicing now, we have all grown to more advanced ways of practicing meditation, which I'm really glad to see. And from the feedback I'm getting from so many of you, you're all moving ahead, moving forward, finding more peace, finding light, finding growth. This is exactly the purpose of the exercise. And today, when you understand karma, then everything you have learned in your meditation, you can apply it with even more vigor, more clarity, more force. So this is going to be the context with which we will approach the karmic faculty of the superconscious mind, which is the cradle of the soul, these three. Now let us spend a few moments understanding the role of the karmic faculty, big picture. For those of you who haven't learned about the 10 stages of the soul, if you missed those lectures, please listen to masterclasses 6, 7, and 8 on our website, amyndahya.com, in the resource library. They're all there. Because these 3 videos describe the 10 stages of the soul with opportunities that exist for us at each stage of our journey. After today's class, you will be able to apply your new understanding of karma to this journey with more clarity and more strength. So please revisit those 3 classes 6, 7, and 8 on our website. Now let us start with the premise that the karmic faculty nurtures us by providing us the experiences which then become knowledge that is pertinent to our life's journey. So when we choose a path and our karmic compass is set, we have to go through specific experiences which teach us, which provide us the light we need to grow in our journey. Each one is different. So let's recap that the origin or the creator is light. Light brings life. Life brings experience. Experience brings knowledge. And knowledge is light. And this is the full circle. And we keep gaining more and more light as we grow as a soul. Now, who brings us the correct experiences we need so that we acquire the light that we seek? These experiences that provide us the knowledge that our soul is seeking. That's what we took birth to learn. It is from the power of karma. Remember, we are all here to learn different things. And karma is the nurturing force that we need to accomplish our journey. So karma is essential to each and every one of us in the accomplishment of our journey. So to understand that, let us visit the story of Malcolm, a soul who has decided to take birth in this world to complete its journey of learning. Now, souls don't have genders, but because I've used Malcolm, I'm going to use he. He has evolved as a soul in so many wonderful ways, climbing up the stages, the 10 stages, beautifully in his spiritual journey. And now he is in the presence of his Creator, seeking the blessing of life in this material world to further his learning and knowledge in specific areas which he has been unable to conclude in his journey to date. So some of the key lessons he asks the Creator to grant him in this life is, number one, a much deeper engagement with his Creator in a world where his Creator is unseen, unknown, and mostly ignored. Unfortunately, that's our world, mostly ignored. The other lesson he wants to learn is overcoming fear through complete trust in his Creator. Fear is something he's been seeking to overcome. The third is learning total detachment. So these are the three core lessons that Malcolm has asked for. A deeper engagement, connection with his Creator in a world where his Creator is unseen, unknown, and mostly ignored. Overcoming fear through complete trust in his Creator. And learning total detachment. These three. And then he asked for a few other lessons, but we are going to focus on these three. Then he proceeds to manifest in our world. Malcolm is born. Having chosen his journey and everything within it, he has chosen all this. He also chooses which souls are to be his parents, either based on his karmic journey thus far, or not based on his karmic journey thus far, but based on the lessons that he has to derive in this lifetime. He has the total freedom to choose his lessons and what he wants to derive from this life in this material world. This journey and all that he has asked of from his Creator is called his soul bond in this material life. Soul bond. That's the soul bond he makes with his Creator of what it is he is coming in this world to seek to achieve. I don't like the term soul contract, which some people use, because it sounds too commercial. And the word bond is deeper, purer, and completely personal. He doesn't make a contract with anyone. He actually, in essence, makes a bond, his soul makes a bond with itself in the presence of its Creator, a beautiful bond. And this is what is going to drive him to fulfill. And now, his bond will be lived out in this material world. Some may call that destiny. Therefore, based on his soul bond, once it is granted by his Creator, the loving, nurturing forces of karma are now engaged. Based on the soul bond, based on those objectives. His karmic compass is set now with a direction that will deliver to him events and experiences through which he will acquire those three key learnings. If he fulfills the bond and converts all his karmic experience to light, then his soul will have gained a great deal from this lifetime. If not, and he strays completely off his path, he may return empty-handed and start over again, next time wiser, if he is even granted a next time. We don't know. This can happen too. Especially if he loses himself completely to the material world, lost in its intoxications of all types, then he could get derailed. I sometimes share the example of this man who lives in the desert with his wife and two sons. And the children are very, very sick. And the wife says, look, we have to get medicines for our children. You have to go across the desert to the nearest town and bring back these medicines. And so he walks in the desert sand. We're talking way, way back in time. He walks in the desert sand and it's scorching heat, but he's going with one simple objective: bring the medicines to save the lives of my children. And after walking all day and all night, the next morning, he stops and to rest near an oasis, and he sees some date palms, and there's a man sitting under one of the date palms. And the man calls him and says, come, have a sit. He joins him, and he says, you look so tired. Here. He pours him a drink from his gourd and says, have some of this, you will feel better. This was his wine. He poured him his wine. This guy took a sip. He cooled down. He drank the whole glass. He felt really good. And he said, let me have one more before I get going. And like that, 1, 2, 3, symbolically, the wine was in essence intoxication of this world. It wasn't just the wine. And then he falls asleep. And the man is gone. And when he wakes up, he doesn't know how long he's been sleeping. And he gets up, and the first thing he realizes, my children. I have to save my children. And he starts running frantically in the desert, but he doesn't even know now where to go. He's so much in panic. And this is why I say, let's not our last moment on this earth be like this man. We've come here with a purpose. Let us fulfill it. So learning about karma, learning about it as a compass is something that's going to be a huge benefit for us. So now let's come to Malcolm. His karmic compass is set. Let's look at how the nurturing forces of karma kick into action into his life. So let's explore 2 paths available to him at a major crossroad in his life. Now, usually in life, we all come across crossroads where we can either go straight, turn left, or turn right. We can't go backwards, obviously. He is at a crossroad. Malcolm is born and raised in northern England in a small village called Chatham. He studies engineering at Newcastle University, and he falls in love with Alice, the daughter of an aristocratic British family, who also studies international politics at the same university. So at crossroad number 1, Malcolm is 22 years old, and at their graduation ceremony, after they've both been conferred with their degrees, Alice proposes marriage to Malcolm. Big crossroad. Now, when a woman like Alice offers or invites you to marry her, you are the most lucky man on earth. So should he marry Alice? So let's take crossroad 1, decision 1. The answer is yes. So when he agrees to marry Alice, this leads to journey 1 on this crossroad. Now we're going to analyze this journey. So Malcolm and Alice get married. He joins a British engineering firm out of London, and she works with the British Foreign Ministry out of London in Whitehall. And they decide not to have children for a while. So that was another crossroad. They said, we're going to wait, we're going to build our careers. And also they had bought a beautiful country house in Kent, and they were going to work as hard as they could to pay off as much of that house as possible. So they both work very hard, they do well in their careers, but Alice begins to age fast because her health is always poor. 15 years into marriage, they decide now we should have children. And so they have a son by the name of Stuart, who is born prematurely and is also in poor health like his mother. Alice gives up working for a little while to stay with Stuart and raise him. But she goes back to work as soon as he is ready to be cared for by the nanny. In this period of 15 years, Malcolm develops some very successful technologies in the medical field, and he gets well known. He receives a huge offer from an American research company out of Boston, which Alice and he could not refuse. So they moved to Boston, another big crossroad. But the offer was so good because it helped pay down a big part of their house that they'd been struggling to pay for. So Malcolm, Alice, and Stuart moved to Boston. Over the next 10 years, Malcolm develops revolutionary technologies, and he becomes a multimillionaire. He starts his own company, and he flourishes. And Alice becomes a professor at Harvard University and then goes on to becoming the dean of her faculty. So Malcolm and Alice are extremely successful people. Now, while both of them are busy excelling in their careers, young Stuart is growing up very lonely with his nanny, but neither of his parents give him any time. Stuart grows into a shy young man, and he makes a life choice to practice homosexuality. We're talking long time ago, and he makes that choice. But unfortunately, in those days, due to lack of awareness, he contracts the AIDS virus. And it afflicts him very badly. And when his parents learn about it, they are totally devastated. Especially when Stuart tells them that his condition is terminal. And both parents, their lives stop. Where did they go wrong in terms of looking after their son, in terms of being present for him while he's going through all this, finding out until he knows he's terminal, that's when they find out that this is the situation. So Malcolm gives up working, and so does Alice, and they spend 100% of their time with Stuart. But 6 months later, Stuart passes away, leaving Malcolm and Alice totally heartbroken. Even their marriage is adversely affected because neither of them can contain the guilt, because they feel responsible for the loss of their child, because they were not there to care for him. They were not there even as he was going through those difficult moments, till he learned he was terminal. After a while, Malcolm gets up and says, all right, instead of grieving, I've done plenty of that, but I am now going to dedicate all my wealth and all my resources to finding a cure for the AIDS virus. And I'll do this in honor of my son's memory. And Malcolm succeeds in finding a cure to AIDS. And he becomes a worldwide celebrity. And when he dies, his name is celebrated in every radio station, TV channel around the world. For he was the one who found the cure for AIDS and saved millions of lives. Now, he died with such great honors globally. What a successful life, one would say, right? What a phenomenal impact Malcolm made to this world. Did he fulfill his soul bond? Yes or no? Hold our answer for a moment. But did he fulfill his soul bond? So now let's go back to Crossroad 1 at the age 22, at the graduation ceremony, where Malcolm now says no to Alice. He refuses to marry her because he's not ready and he wants to travel and see the world. So he says to Alice, let's not get married and let's grow up and let's see life and let's see the world. And Alice is heartbroken and she's not going to wait for him. So she leaves him. And each follow their own destinies, not together anymore. All Malcolm's friends call him an idiot. Everyone is upset at him for hurting Alice. Malcolm is referred to by so many colorful names. And the British profanity can be quite potent, let me tell you. So he's totally unpopular. Here starts journey 2 with a new set of crossroads. Malcolm decides not to join the British engineering firm, but instead he joins a consulting company out of Hong Kong. And he moves to Hong Kong and settles. 2 years later, he marries a lovely young Chinese lady by the name of Kathy, who was actually a co-worker in the consulting firm. And Kathy comes from a very devout Christian family. After a couple of years, they have 2 daughters, and then after that, a son. And their lives are shaping up so beautifully as a very happy family filled with love. And Kathy makes every effort to make sure that Malcolm and the children go to church every Sunday so that they remain connected with their faith. Now, Malcolm was initially agnostic, but then as he attended church regularly, he developed an interest in religion. And he's, however, more drawn towards the Asian school of thought. And he finds Buddhism appealing to him more than Christianity because of the way he thinks. And so he deeply immerses himself into studying Buddhism. 2 years later, he converts to Buddhism and leaves Christianity, much to Kathy's dismay. She is so upset, she is heartbroken. And Malcolm now starts to spend long hours daily in the temple. And 5 years later, he announces to Kathy that he is renouncing his material life and moving to Tibet to serve as a monk in the main Buddhist temple. And Kathy and the children are devastated. And despite their begging and pleading with him, Michael leaves them and goes off to Tibet. Very cruel, wouldn't you say? But he does it. First Alice, now Kathy, and even his own children. All their friends, Malcolm and Kathy's friends, are enraged by Michael's decision. So he adds more colorful profanity to his track record, but this time in Chinese. And in Tibet, he settles into the monastery as a monk. And then he rises to become the chief priest of that temple. An achievement that he considers the greatest of all in his life. Then the Chinese attack Tibet and take him prisoner. They torture him ruthlessly and throw him in a freezing cell until a year later he dies, starved and frozen. He passes on. Nobody even knows he is dead. He is buried in an unmarked grave, alone, with no one to grieve for him, nor celebrate his life. Some would say, what a failure, right? A man who kept hurting his loved ones and finally ended up dying alone, cold and hungry in a Chinese prison. Some may say, well deserved, right? So, was journey 1, where Malcolm was celebrated by everyone in the world as the man who found the cure for AIDS, was that a successful life for Malcolm the soul? Or was journey 2, a solitary death with an unknown identity, was that a successful life journey for Malcolm's soul? Let's come back to his soul bond that he made before birth, which included a much deeper connection with his Creator in a world where his Creator is unseen and mostly ignored. Overcoming fear through trust in his Creator. Learning total detachment. So, and other lessons. Which of the 2 journeys do you think fulfilled his soul bond? Take a moment and think about it. 2 very different journeys, 2 very different endings. I would say journey 2 made him accomplish all these lessons. He came closer to his Creator with immense faith, for which he was willing to detach from everything. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that was his soul bond. He detached from the world, from Alice, from Kathy, his children, everyone he loved. Even though it tore his heart from within, he did it anyway. The abuse and torture by the Chinese when he was in prison enabled him to break past fear completely. He died well above fear of any kind. So while the optics of journey 1 are much nicer, Malcolm fulfills his soul bond in journey 2, even though the optics are very poor. But then who are we to judge, right? These 2 journeys invoke so many emotions in us. Even as I was putting it down, it was invoking emotions in me, as it has in you. Sadness and celebration in journey 1, dismay and even anger at his injustices in journey 2. Who offered him the exact experiences he needed to achieve a life where he was able to complete his soul bond? It was the nurturing force of karma, with the blessing of his Creator. His karmic compass was set for journey 2, where he successfully fulfilled his soul bond. So when your karmic compass is set and you are following life and you are listening to your inner self, because this is one thing Malcolm did quite well. He listened to his inner voice. It led him to fulfillment. So now you've seen karma at work. You've also realized why we should never judge anyone. Even if we deem their decisions unacceptable or unjust, that person is on his or her own journey. Let them be. Don't judge them, because you don't know and I don't know, and the best part is we never will. You or I are not qualified to judge anyone, because we are totally ignorant of people's karmic compass and soul bonds. It is between them and their creator. We are in this world to gain our experience, to gain our learning, and if their life is a lesson for us, fine, we'll learn from it. But don't judge. And when we see people suffering or hurt, we should not think that they are being punished for their past karma, because that may not be further from the truth. Their soul bond may be based on the exact learning or growth or realizations that come from their suffering. We will never know what they are. Passing judgment is easy and very dangerous, as the journey of Malcolm has just revealed to us. So let us focus on our own journeys and nothing else, because that is the path of wisdom. Now I've just shown you in simple terms the karmic compass at work. I don't make the rules, so no point in debating it with me. I'm simply sharing with you how I think it works, the little I know. So my dear friends, karma is not something we should fear. It is something we should be grateful for and work with and seek to flow with our karmic compass through that level of conscious awareness, so that it can deliver us to our soul bond. And let us leave this world celebrating accomplishment of our soul bond and all its lessons fulfilled. We can, with this awareness. We have all just learned about the compass, the karmic compass at work. This was the first objective of this evening's class. Now let us look at the second aspect, which is cause and effect. So a lot of us have very simplistic perceptions of cause and effect. What goes around, comes around. You reap what you sow, and more. People look at karma as a form of justice and reward mechanism. I believe that cause and effect is not as simple as that. I hurt you, so I'm going to get hurt. I do good, so I must expect good will come back to me. While all of the above may be correct in their core essence, there's so much more to recognize about karma, especially the dimension of cause and effect. Now let's see how cause and effect work. What is cause and effect? Cause can be a thought or an action or a series of actions. So cause can be a thought or an action or a series of actions that impact the lives of others either positively or negatively. So each one of us is the source of cause, each one of us. And effect is the impact of the cause, positive or negative, on the lives of others. The impact can range from something small to absolute devastation in people's lives. That's cause and effect. So let's take a simple example. For example, you are feeling cold and you close the windows. So the cause to you was the cold, and the effect was that you closed the window. Very simple. But the effect in itself can become a new cause. It always does. So your closing the window is also a cause whose effect is that the room warms up, making others comfortable. So that's the effect also. Simple. Now people being comfortable, which is the effect, can also be a cause where them wanting to remain in the warmth causes them to overlook what they should be doing, something important that they should have been doing, which may have a much larger impact on others. But you created the comfortable environment for yourself. It was warmer, that's fine. You thought it was done. But that effect became a cause for someone or some people not to do what they were supposed to do. They would rather stay in the warmth. And maybe that impact resulted in a lot of damage to someone else. So cause and effect is an endless chain. It is life in action. It's not one cause, one effect, I do good, it comes back to me. No. Cause and effect is a chain, it is life in action. Remember, we live in a world where events are ever spiraling, giving birth to ever spiraling causes and effects. That's why our world is one of chaos, because there's so many new causes, effects, causes, each effect becoming a cause. It's a spiral, it's chaos. This is why I refer to our world as a cyclone. You can see why. Now let us explore this further, because it's something very interesting behind it. Let's do that through the story of two sisters, Hamida and Aisha. Aisha is married to a fine young man by the name of Charles, and they make a lovely couple. So Hamida sees Charles, her sister's husband, having lunch with a stunningly beautiful woman at a restaurant, high-end restaurant in Los Angeles. The two of them are laughing and they are very happy. Apparently, the woman he is with is his classmate, Cindy, from school days. And she is passing through LA on her way to Asia, so they are meeting up after 10 years. Perfectly innocent situation. Two friends catching up. Hamida is very upset because she has convinced herself that Charles is cheating on her sister, Aisha. Aisha is a very sweet, loving person and a great wife to Charles. And they have a superb marriage. But like every seemingly perfect relationship, theirs too has an Achilles heel. It is Aisha's incredible insecurity where other women are concerned. She is always scared of her happy marriage ending because of some other woman. And this is just a built-in insecurity poor Aisha suffers from. Now Charles is very handsome man, very pleasant personality. So women love his company, so do men. But he's totally committed to his wife and he loves her dearly. Well aware of this Achilles heel, he does everything he can to reassure his wife, keep her at ease where their marriage is concerned. He does everything to prove to her over and over again that she can trust him. He shows her in every way he knows how that he loves her and is worthy of her trust. And Charles has never been unfaithful to Aisha. He's too much in love with her to be unfaithful. Now, the two sisters talk. And Hamida puts Aisha into a serious negative tailspin, creating an inferno of insecurity. She sends pictures of Charles and his friend having lunch. And when Hamida sees the stunning beauty of the woman Charles is with, she's totally intimidated. Even though she's a good-looking woman herself, she's totally intimidated. Terrible place for Aisha to be. Needless to say, Charles and Aisha have a massive fight. And she says some very cruel things that cause him to react badly, so they sleep in different rooms that night. The next morning, he leaves early for the airport, upset and depressed. Charles is a flight captain for a major international airline, and he's supposed to be flying 500 passengers from Los Angeles to Singapore that morning. So en route to the airport, Charles has a car accident on the motorway, which, because he's been driving without focus, totally consumed by the row he's had with the wife he loves so much. This left him emotionally extremely distraught, and he shouldn't have been driving. Fortunately, he escapes injury, in the accident, but now there is a pileup of 20 plus cars and a huge backup of traffic on the motorway, causing massive delays of thousands of people trying to get to work, get to the airport, get to where they need to be, everything. Charles has caused total chaos that has affected thousands. Even a child fighting for her life is stuck in an ambulance because of this accident on the motorway. Maybe she may not survive. So his poor judgment has caused a serious impact of an outcome. Charles's flight is held up for 5 hours because they cannot find a replacement captain to take his flight. So Charles is going to fly them, and they wait 5 hours. So 500 passengers are on phones, rescheduling their plans and meetings in Singapore. Others have offices working on rescheduling flights, trying to get them on other airlines. Others are rescheduling their connections at the other end. Each passenger's delay impacts so many people where they are and at the other end. So this chain of the car accident and the delay of the flight spreads to hundreds of thousands of lives globally. Now let's take a step back and look at the basic cause. It was Hamida's need. It was Hamida's suspicion and need to protect Aisha. So she thought she was being a good sister. But what she did had a massive effect on Aisha. And now Aisha becomes the cause of the row with Charles. And the effect is an accident on the motorway, which becomes the cause of thousands of new effects. The chain spreads in full swing. Then you add Charles as being the cause of the flight delay. And now we have a whole series of new effects on the other side of the world. And passengers who miss their connections in Singapore have an impact in Australia and so many other countries. So you can see, where does it stop? It doesn't. This is the algorithm of life and events. This is the algorithm of karma. This is how karma works. Cause and effect, causing events, chain events, bringing experiences, bringing situations to everybody. So it would be naive to think of cause and effect simply as good for good and bad for bad. It doesn't always work that way. Here's how I think it works. What are the lessons Hamida needs to learn from all this? And she had no idea that she was the cause of all this, and neither did the sister have any idea. And Charles is responsible for his own actions too. What are the lessons that Hamida needs to learn? Number one, to guard against her own insecurities and projecting it on others. To exercise patience and wisdom. If she hadn't projected her insecurities on her sister Aisha, things would have been different. To exercise patience and wisdom, which is something Hamida seriously lacks. To think about the consequences of her emotional reactions. After all, she had a good relationship with Charles. She could have confronted him there and then with the question, or called him later and asked him what was that about, before setting Aisha on fire. So, the lessons that will come back to Hamida are restraint, better emotional management, patience, trust, and wisdom. These are some of the examples of the lessons that will come back to her through karma and its cause and effect. How they will come, we don't know, but these lessons will come. Remember, the karma starts at the circle and always finishes at the same point, but not the way we imagine. So lessons from this full chain of events will ultimately bring back learning for Hamida, not as punishment, but as a nurturing force, the nurturing force of karma. Now, what lessons does Aisha need to learn? First is to start trusting the people who love you. And don't forget everything they've done to prove to you their trust, that they are worthy of your trust, as Charles had done. Second, to be more responsible with managing your emotions. Thirdly, to give the one who you love a chance to explain themselves, himself or herself. Don't be blinded by your insecurity. She never gave Charles a chance to speak. She just let go. And remember, for her, she also is going to learn that words are like live, red-hot pokers of steel. Once they are released, they can pierce the hearts of others. And it may take a very long time for them to heal, if they ever do. Once you release a word, you have released a live red-hot poker that pierces the heart of another. You can't take it back. You've done it. So patience, wisdom, better emotional management, and trust are some examples of lessons that will come back to Aisha through karma and its cause and effect. And lessons from this full chain of events will ultimately bring learning to Aisha as a nurturing force, not as a punishment. This is how karma works for her. Finally, what lessons does Charles need to learn? Knowing Aisha's insecure nature, maybe he should have told Aisha beforehand that he is planning to have lunch with his friend Cindy. He should have been more mindful. I mean, of course, he didn't realize it would turn out like this, but he should have been more mindful. He should have told his wife that nothing would have happened. And maybe she would have joined them. Who knows? And when confronted and accused of infidelity, he perhaps should have been calmer and more patient, because he knows full well that it is not Aisha speaking, it is her insecurity speaking. He knows the difference. So perhaps his reaction should not have been the way it was. So he needs to learn. And then number 3, driving without focus on a highway or flying a plane. In that mental state is very unsafe and downright irresponsible. He has to be more self-aware of his state of mind and state of being. So mindfulness, patience, better emotional management, and greater self-awareness are some examples of lessons that will come back to him through karma and its cause and effect. So lessons from this full chain of events will ultimately bring learning to Charles, not as a punishment, but as a nurturing force of karma. My dear friends, this is how cause and effect works. It is the algorithm of life, and it rests in the nurturing hands of karma. This is why I've repeatedly referred to life in this world as being like a cyclone, where events are ever spiraling, giving birth to ever spiraling causes and effects. That's why our world is one of chaos. You can see why we consider it a cyclone. Now your higher self, your soul, your superconscious mind reside in the center of this cyclone, completely still. And that's where the true power that drives the cyclone resides. And that's where you reside, your higher self resides, in its center core. This is why we have learned so many different forms and techniques in our master classes on how to become still, become completely still and timeless. We have learned this over and over again in different ways, and we have practiced, and we have begun to be able to go still and go timeless, because therein lies our true power, spiritual power. So I hope we have together risen above the basic interpretations of karma as what goes around and comes around. In reality, it does manifest that way, but not always an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. I think we have to view karma from a much higher level. Now, these examples of cause and effect, they serve to show us the algorithm of karma. It's a program, it's an algorithm. And I've often wondered what happens to killers and torturers and very cruel people. How does karma deal with them? Firstly, we live in a world of law and justice. And these laws and justice at a societal level, maybe such people are dealt with by justice of the law as part of their karmic cause and effect. That's one possibility. Or maybe not. And the new chain of events that they have started from something so harsh and cruel may ultimately bring them learning in forms that may be both nurturing and cruel, and possibly very cruel. We don't know. For karma, the great teacher, one has to be sometimes very cruel to be kind. One thing I do believe is that each one of these people who commit such crimes ultimately go through a karmic rehabilitation. So they will change, they will learn from their actions, they will rehabilitate, and they will move on with their journey, because that is the purpose of karma. And in the process, they may have to go through some very tough lessons, but that's the algorithm that karma will open up. And these outcomes can be so different. And I'm not intelligent enough to speculate on each of these outcomes of these crimes, because the algorithm is too complex for my human mind and for your mind. It takes working with the infinite intelligence of our superconsciousness to be able to figure this out. The truth is, none of us will ever know how each criminal who escapes societal justice ultimately gets dealt with. But as I said, it may be through a wide range of possibilities that you and I will never know. So finally, you can see how cause and effect and the karmic compass are an integral part of one another. Now, I split it into two parts so that you could see the difference. But now when you combine them, life, events, experiences, knowledge, light, all start to make sense from that karmic compass, cause and effect point of view. So this was the second aspect we wanted to cover. And actually, we're right on time because we're now coming to the meditation. So the third aspect of karma that we will address is the fact that it is timeless and it doesn't stop with one lifetime. So karma is timeless and it doesn't stop with one lifetime. It continues, especially with respect to the major lessons that need to be learned from that karma. Therefore, if we wish to live a life of true learning and achieve our soul bond, and actually go beyond that to achieving complete union with our Creator, the ultimate fulfillment, then we can use meditation and a deeper understanding of karma to seek its resolution and dissolution. Especially the aspects of karma that bind us to more and more cycles of life while seeking resolution. This type of karma is best resolved and dissolved so that we can open the way to new events and lessons with the blessing of our Creator. And our Creator may then grant us the karma of enlightenment, which will lead us towards ultimate fulfillment. Think about it. Living with the karma of enlightenment. What a huge blessing that would be. Something we should all seek and pray for and invoke. Now you can appreciate why karma of enlightenment can be so helpful to all of us as we seek to cross that 8th stage in the 10 stages of the soul, the stage of the orchestra. Very difficult stage, but the karma of enlightenment will bring us events and experiences that will enable us to cross the 8th stage. The stage of total harmony, the stage of zero conflict. It is our golden key, and starting today, we're going to do our best to gain it and use it. So let us dedicate today's meditation to this exalted objective. Now, one very important point to remember. Before you invoke resolution and dissolution of karma, which through meditation I'll teach you how, but as you are ready, you will invoke that one day. You must make a solid commitment to the Creator that in this lifetime you will dedicate yourself fully to achieving completion of your journey, achieving union with your source, your Creator, crossing the 10th stage and past that door. You must make this commitment. And only on this basis may you be blessed with the karma of enlightenment. Then everything karma, then your compass is pointed towards, your karmic compass is pointed towards Fanafi Allah, annihilation, complete merger with the Creator. That's the direction your compass will be set at. And everything that you will now live for, you will change your life, you will change the events. They will all come to you with the goal of facilitating accomplishment of that objective. But you have to make that commitment, and you have to be very serious about that commitment. So we're going to practice today's meditation, which is the meditation of cleansing and karmic resolution. I'm going to teach you this technique, and then I would like you to revisit this meditation when you get the recordings and practice this meditation. And once you're ready to make that final commitment, which will invoke the karma of enlightenment, your life is set. But that commitment must be real. So this meditation is one where you will think of all the mistakes you have made and all that you wish to cleanse and resolve. Now it's a meditation where you have to be very honest with yourself. But the best part is only you will know the answers. Nobody will, just you. And your Creator already knows. So with the true and sincere intention of changing your life and the way you think and act, all with the single objective of bringing karma of enlightenment into your life. That's the purpose of this meditation. Now here are some thoughts that we will explore in the meditation of cleansing and karmic resolution. Because only when you are prepared to recognize your mistakes can you seek resolution. We have all made lots of mistakes in our lives, all of us, big lists. So you're definitely not alone in this journey of realizing your mistakes. You have a lot of company, practically every living human being. But you're amongst the few who is consciously trying to seek honest resolution and dissolution of the karma. You're in the minority there because it's quite an exalted challenge, something with amazing end results. So in the meditation, you may think of the trusts you have betrayed, the false promises you may have made, lies you may have uttered, or deception that you may be party to, taking what was not yours, hurt that you may have caused to others. Think of all these mistakes with your family and loved ones and friends and acquaintances and colleagues, because we are human. To err is human. But now in this meditation, you're going to take a few moments to think about your errors. So you will be thinking about the trust you betrayed, the promises you made, lies and deception you may have been party to or initiated, taking what was not yours, and the hurt you may have caused to others, the damage you may have caused to nature and the environment. All these mistakes you're going to take time to think of. Today you may think of a few, next time there'll be more, next time there'll be more. But this is a beautiful cleansing process of resolving your karma. Beautiful process. It'll bring you a lot of peace, a lot of peace. Sometimes we don't like to think of the things we've done, and it's funny once you start thinking, even you may have forgotten, the Creator will show you that and say, by the way, put that in your list, and you cleanse it. So now I'd like you to sit back, relax, dim your lights, close your eyes and breathe freely. Breathe freely. I'd like you to imagine you're sitting in a dark room all by yourself. It's a small dark room and you're in it all alone. Take a moment and look at this room. Look around you. It's so dark you can't see anything. And now, I'd like you to take a moment and think about the major mistakes or wrongdoings of your life that you can recall. From the trusts you may have betrayed or broken, from being party to lying or deception, taking what is not yours, hurting others, hurting nature and the environment. All the mistakes you may have made, take your time. Think of each one that comes to mind. Take it out of your being and place it in the dark room next to you. Take your time. Think of each of your mistakes, major mistakes, and place it in the dark room next to you. You're in a small dark room and you're surrounded by the different mistakes you've made in your life. You've placed them next to you in this room. Take a few more moments and recall as many of them as you can. And you don't have to recall all of them, even if there is a very small number of major things. Take them out of your being and place them into the room next to you. So you are in this small dark room, surrounded by your mistakes. And then before you, there opens a window. And outside of this window is a bright, warm, loving light that comes into this room and fills it completely, absorbing all your mistakes, all your faults, all your wrongdoings. They are all absorbed in the light, taken away from you as this light fills your being, flows through every element of your being. This is the light of love, the light of healing, the light of cleansing, the light of creation. And this light, light of love, is flowing through every cell in your being. And in the presence of this light, you repeat, heal in the name of the light. And you can replace the word light by any name of the Creator you choose. Heal in the name of the light. Heal in the name of the light. As the light of healing reaches every element of your being, healing you from all the karma that you wish to resolve and dissolve. Heal in the name of the light. Keep repeating this word. Heal in the name of the light. And then you repeat, heal, heal, heal. And let the light of healing heal every element of your being, every part of your body, every part of your mind, all your emotions, everything. Heal, heal, heal. Keep repeating this word, heal. And then in the presence of this light, you repeat the word cleanse, cleanse, cleanse. Let the light of cleansing, let the light of healing cleanse every part of you, your body, your mind, every part of you, your emotions. Cleanse, cleanse, cleanse in the name of the light. Cleanse in the name of the light. Cleanse, cleanse. Keep repeating cleanse. And let yourself be completely cleansed by the blessing of the light. Cleanse, cleanse, cleanse. May every thought of yours from today be fully cleansed, every emotion cleansed, memories of all the wrongdoings be healed and cleansed, cleanse, cleanse. Seek the blessing of cleansing and resolution of your karma. Cleanse, cleanse, cleanse. And in the presence of the light, you now repeat, I seek forgiveness. I seek forgiveness. I seek forgiveness for all my mistakes. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. Let the light of healing, light of creation flow through you, every part of you, and forgive you all your wrongs. Resolve your karma. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. And in the presence of the light of creation, you repeat, I forgive all. I forgive all. I forgive all. I forgive all those who wrong me. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. Keep repeating forgiveness and allow forgiveness to cleanse you completely, to cleanse your karma. Forgiveness, forgiveness. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. And in the presence of the light, you now repeat resolution, resolution, resolution. I seek resolution of all my karma, all my karma. Resolution, resolution, resolution. Keep repeating the word resolution. Resolution, resolution, resolution. And in the presence of the light of creation, I seek the karma of enlightenment, karma of enlightenment. Bless me with the karma of enlightenment, enlightenment, enlightenment. Keep repeating the word enlightenment. Enlightenment, enlightenment, enlightenment. Your being is filled with light, with love, with healing, with cleansing, with forgiveness, with resolution. With all that, we seek the karma of enlightenment, enlightenment, enlightenment. Light, light, light. Keep repeating the words light, light, light. And we conclude with gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude for the blessings of all we have learned. Gratitude for the blessing of seeking resolution of our karma. Praying for the karma of enlightenment. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude for all the blessings we have received in our material life, in our spiritual life. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude. You may open your eyes whenever you wish. That was a very special meditation, a meditation where we're seeking cleansing, healing, cleansing. We forgive all those who've wronged us. We seek forgiveness. We're seeking resolution of our karma. And we're seeking the karma of enlightenment. So this meditation is very, very fundamental for those of us who want to take on this challenge, this journey of completing our journey in this lifetime. Those of us who take on this commitment can practice this meditation regularly and cleanse ourselves of and seek resolution and dissolution of our karma. And we will be granted that if we are totally sincere. So do practice this meditation. And if you're not ready to make that commitment, still practice it as a preparation, as a constant recognition of cleansing and healing yourself and forgiveness and resolution. Practice it anyway. And then when you're ready to make that commitment and you practice it with that oneness, with that heart, with that soul, God willing, you may be granted the karma of enlightenment, which will point your karmic compass to completion of your journey. And all the events and experience that start from there will help you complete your journey. Good evening, Tosin.
Yes, good evening.
We could start with our first question, Tosin.
Okay, so first question we have here says, given that karma has an impact on our lives and navigates our future, is there anything like zero karma? It's like starting to go or allowing forces in the universe to shape our spiritual lives?
Well, I mean, you can use words like zero karma as another definition of karma. If you understand karma the way we will try to together today, you will find that actually this force exists, whether you call it zero karma and you say it's the universe navigating you, or you say it is the karmic force, the karmic compass, the cause and effect compass. These are all names, but there is a force that drives events and experiences in our lives. And as a result, a notion of zero karma would almost fall into using a different name for karma.
Next question. Can there be negative karmic energy in one's home which makes you feel being in there uncomfortable?
It's not karmic energy, no. Karmic forces, and again through our talk today, you will see that it's something very personal, it's very localized to you, very localized to each soul based on their journey. And if you're talking about the presence of negative energy in a given environment, then that's a different issue. But there's no such thing I am aware of negative karma residing in a given place. No. There is negative thought energy, yes. And that could have been a product of so many reasons, yes. But I would not say that karma takes on a life of that form, no. In my understanding, huh?
What connection does anger have with karma? Is it important to let go of anger to have good karma?
I think anger is an emotion. Karma is a direction. Karma is a source of experiences. Now, if anger is a cause of hurt and pain inflicted on others, and you are living that as part of the karmic journey, then lessons are going to come to you that teach you that this is an aspect you need to correct. If you recognize it before that, then yes, correct it. Then what happens is the teacher of karma sends you other lessons because this lesson has been learned by the student.
Not directly related to karma, do animals have souls, e.g. ants? question.
Every life form, everything the Creator has created has His life energy, which is of infinite intelligence. So just as we have life force, which comes to us through our soul, every living form has life force, has life energy, has life intelligence. And this is why when we practice oneness and I say go to the garden and focus on that tree and connect with its life force through that meditative thought of we are oneness, then you are connecting with the tree. You can't say the tree doesn't have a soul because it is creation, and we would be naive to think, almost arrogant to think that human beings are the only ones who have a soul. Perhaps human beings are the ones who recognize that that's what you should call it. But the intelligence fields of nature are vast, vast, far beyond even human comprehension. And therefore, I would say every animal, every creature, every insect, everything has life force. Therefore, that life force was given to it by its source, the Creator. So we are all one creation. I'm sorry to say we're no different to some of the insects we would much rather see dead, but we're all part of that oneness.
Do good deeds get carried with you to your spiritual world? What about people who do good deeds in the physical world and aren't necessarily rewarded for that in the physical world?
I think whenever we do anything good, now we have started positive karma. The cause has been positive, the effect is going to be positive, whether it comes back to us in so many other ways. Whether the learning or whether those cycles of the positive karma we have participated in, the circle gets completed in this lifetime or gets completed beyond us, it ultimately does get completed. So the good you do is yours to keep. And the wrong you do is also yours to learn from. And so it's a nurturing journey. It's like, and this is where I think the more good we do in this world and not expect good to happen to us because we did good, because now there's an expectation. The good is because it's the right thing to do. It's your understanding of the oneness. It's your understanding that your Creator is present in everyone around you. And so if I hurt you, I'm hurting myself. That reality, that realization, you do good, that's permanent, that stays with you. So let's conclude today. We are right on time. We were going to conclude at 9:30. I'd like to thank you all so much for being here today. Week after next Saturday, we will have our next class. I believe it is going to be on the faculty of essence or faculty of creativity. We will confirm that. But next Saturday, we are going to actually get together, practice the techniques we have all learned in a meditation where we will be seeking to provide our spiritual service, our prayer, our light, our positive energy for the benefit of all creation. So this will be our time to give back. And giving back is also a very, very beautiful part of our karmic journey.
That's a really good question, but I don't know if you have time to answer this in detail. So,
all right, just last one.
Okay, this one says, my son is adopted and would love to understand your perspective on the part karma plays in our karmic connection with him. I have always told him he's my soul baby.
That's a beautiful answer. That's a really beautiful answer. And yes, your son has come into your life, even though he's not your biological child, you chose for this soul and this experience to come to you. And you chose to share your life with your son. And you chose to be the best custodian he could ever have. And so, yes, he is your child in every way, shape, and form. So the answer you gave him couldn't be better. So Great pleasure having you here today, and I pray you invoke all the best blessings that the Creator has for you. Stay blessed. All the best.